In this episode of Minor Matters, let's have a look at one nation from 20 years ago. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Heise Says. I thought today we'd do something a little bit different. I don't know how I stumbled across this, but I have found One Nation's website from 20 years ago. And I'm sure there's a generation out there and a whole lot of younger viewers that may not have seen the internet from back then, or who may get a rush of nostalgia looking at late 90s web design. So this is their website now, and they've got their policies. It's a polished, professional website. Can't complain. Looks good. Let's go back in time now. Everyone, hold on to your Steiner coffee because you're going to need it. Now, this was done by a gentleman, what's his name? Scott Balson. He was originally involved in One Nation, I understand. And this is their website from 98 at least. Here you go. I mean, there's Pauline. And this isn't a fan website. This was their website back then that was done for the party. So let's have a look at some things now. So note, main menu links below the latest news. I mean, just look at the background. Regardless of what you think about the party or anything else, I mean, just look at the background. This really feels like late 90s internet. Wow. I mean, when was this made? Okay, inquiry. So it was created on the 19th of April, 1997. That was when the website was originally made. So there you go. That's over 20 years ago. So what do we have here? Pauline Hanson response to Howard's GST. And here we go. We've got a wall of white text. A wall of white text. And it's her speeches. So you can become involved. So let's have a look at some press releases. And I'll just do another tab. So here we go. Here's the press releases. This is the standard blue font that's used on the internet. I mean, if anything, it's more just a little bit of internet history looking at websites. I mean, look at it now. Look at the setup now. Look at the news now. Much more polished, and it's a much more established political organization. That would be it'll be a different one, to be quite frank. So, what else? Her speeches. Here you go. Where's her maiden speech? Speeches. Question without notice. Child support. News agencies. What does she talk about news agencies? It's Hanson. My question is addressed to the Prime Minister. Prior to the election, you gave a rock-solid commitment to all news agents of Australia that your government would preserve the existing territorial system for the distribution of newspapers and magazines. Wow. That is really, really old now, if you think about it. News agencies are dying, and wow. And this is a concern of one of her electorates that she's raised. Well, I mean, good on her for bringing one of her electorate's concerns to Parliament. It just, wow. Let's have a look at their online history, some images, pictures. So the launch, and they've got a few pictures here. I'm just flabbergasted just at the internet back then. I mean, it's a different way of laying everything out. The graphics are, can we just click on the picture? There you go. There you go. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's good. This isn't an archive. This is the original GWB that was hosting it. I mean, yeah, guys, internet's come a long way since the late 1990s. And I remember when I was working at businesses that only just recently got an email back in the 2000s. So, here we go. The start of One Nation, a bit of history here. And what else do we have? Books, biography. I mean, you could have gotten One Nation, Pauline Hanson's books. Comparison of AusStudy and AbStudy living allowances in 1996. Ooh, let's have a look. So AusStudy at home. Okay. I guess it's from the book, comparing it all. AusStudy, AbStudy. There doesn't seem to be that much of a difference. Oh, $4,000 over the year. I don't even know if we have those policies in place anymore. It'll be interesting to see. Let's have a look at some of their policies and goals. And what we'll do, new one there. So we'll look at some of her policies and see if we can see any difference in 20 years of the party. I mean, just look at the graphic design. Who would you vote for? Who would you vote for? So what do we have here? Tax system. This innovative new tax system will reduce prices of all goods. I recall that I think they wanted to put a fixed 2% tax on everything. 2% tax on all purchases. Does that even appear anymore? See that the complexity of the complexity of, oh, this is by state as well. So you can see that they're at a much greater granular level now. So the party's obviously matured. And the internet has matured as well, because not everyone would have been on the internet back then. Remember that in 97. I'm just interested in their medicinal marijuana policy. Do they have that here? Taxation, superannuation. So we'll jump back. The policy document. Images from the press conference about the document. So, oh yeah, this was a big thing there. 2% taxation. The simplification of the tax system. And let's see, can we find that anymore here? Can we find that here? Tax, GST, tax foreign owned. One Nation opposes any increase to the GST as it will reduce spending and destroy small business. We support the investigation of an alternative tax system and fairer tax reform. So I'd say that policy has stayed with the party. I mean, they're not blatantly just saying a 2% system, but they want a fairer tax system and tax reform, which is fine. So, I mean, this isn't going to be as an official Minor Matters episode. It's a bit more fun just getting a glimpse of ancient internet from the 90s. So what else do we have here? Aged care disability policy. How's that changed? Where have they got here? Surplus government, law and order, vegetation, foreign pensioners. One Nation is to determine all aged people will have a voice in government decisions that impact on their lives and welfare, that the elderly shall be treated with dignity and respect. And here they're breaking it down a bit more. An additional $150 per fortnight per couple. Why increase the pension and similar payments? How will it be funded? The $10 billion will be funded through reforms of gas tax laws and by moving multinational companies progressively out of the corporate tax system and placing them in a new transactional-based system. So their original tax policy, I think, it looks like it's still evident in a lot of their policies here. They want to, you can see the nature, the existence of it still through everything else here, which I think is fascinating. So let's keep looking. What else do we want to look at here? Small business policy, immigration policy. Let's see what the immigration policy is. Okay, British colonialism. Oh wow, that's a wall of text, and they've got all their principles. I mean, okay, from a persuasion perspective, it's just terrible because it's walls of text. If you're interested enough to read all of this, you're either wanting to attack them, or you're interested enough to be invested in their policies. And sure, I think it's a lot smarter how they're doing it here. What's the immigration now? Asylum seekers and refugees, close enough. You can see what's changed, how things have reframed. Remove Australia from the UN Refugee Convention. So there you go. Okay, wow. Wow. So what else can we find? We'll go back to their homepage. Join the party, books, parliament, One Nation people. Who's One Nation people? Key contacts, Pauline Hanson. Wow, there's some old names here that you don't really hear that much anymore. One Nation about, or history. Do they have their team? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Members of Parliament. Got their candidates. Okay, so they've announced them all in Queensland. So I'm trying to see if I see any recognized names here, but that's going to be too much to look at. So yeah, guys, this is more really a look at ancient internet than anything. Oh, look, donations with a flashing donations text. I mean, wow, I was making websites like this back. This is back when I was in high school that this would have been up. So, wow, and it's a the ring named site. So this is a This is really an artifact here of the internet, the website rings. Now, you could jump to another website, and I'll give it a shot, and this is what it went to. So, WebRing still exists. I'm surprised. Explore your hobbies and interests. Military and politics. And all. Wow, is that their traffic numbers that they're getting? That is tiny. That is tiny. Look at that. Only 101 politics sites and just 1,100 hits. What's the time frame? Is that per day or per hour? So, yeah, that's the idea with this would be that you'd set up your website and you'd add it to this ring. So you'd look at one website and then you could click next and you'd find another similar website. So you wouldn't go to Google. This was before Google's time. Netscape Navigator. I'm showing my age here, guys. I'm really showing my age. So join WebRing link. Okay, you can join it. Wow. Copy the banner. So you can add it to your page. Wow. Okay. Online issues. What's online issues? Well, there you go. Asian organised crime in Australia, UN Draft Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, the UN Lima Declaration. And I'll do a video on this declaration at another time, looking at it, because I think it'd be quite interesting for a lot of people to learn about. So yeah, wait, do they have state MPs? No. Well, guys, I think One Nation have definitely improved their website skills, honestly. And I'm just showing them because I found it, just looking for other stuff. I'm not bagging them. I'm sure a lot of other organizations have cringy websites from the late 90s. I bet you all the other political parties would have had terrible websites. Let me know in the comments what you've seen. Is this a flashback to an internet past you don't want to remember? Would you have support, if you're a One Nation supporter now, if you're a fan of Pauline, would you support them if their website was still like this back in the day? Or are you all too young and you're shocked that this is what the internet was? I mean, this was the internet, guys. This was the internet. So, everyone, thank you for joining me for this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ding the bell to see my daily updates. And I'll see you all next time for something other than a 1990s internet flashback. Take care.